So we're gonna go ahead and start by rinsing our beans. And this whole bag right here is 2 pounds of black beans, but right now we're only gonna cook 1 pound of them. I don't really trip too much about the split ones and all that stuff. I know some people pick them out. It's not that big of a deal to me. Alright, so let that strain out. We're gonna cook 1 pound of black beans. So 1 pound of dried black beans is the equivalent of 453 grams. There we go. So now we're just gonna pour the beans. So I'm going to do 178 grams of onions. You can add in some seasonings and things like that. So like I said, this is 1 pound of black beans. And for 1 pound, you want about 4.5 to 5 cups of water. You can see that the water is about an inch above the black beans, and that's kind of the sweet spot that you want. The more experience that you have with it, the more times that you make this, you'll figure out what works best for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of seasonings. Kosher salt, we're going to put some of that in there. Normally I will also add in some garlic powder, but I don't have any, so I like to have spiciness up in mine. So me and Raina enjoy spicy food, so I'm gonna add some ground red pepper in there as well. Or maybe a lot of ground red pepper. Now you'll notice that I didn't say anything about soaking the beans overnight. You don't have to. You can if you prefer. If you have like digestive issues and things like that, you may want to soak them overnight, but it's not required, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and lock this up. Now this part is pretty important. You may have a different version of the Instapot or a different model. My model is the Instapot Chef Rio series, I believe. And it's like a 6-quart. If that's wrong, I'll put it on the screen. Regardless of the model that you have, you wanna make sure that it's unsealed so that it can actually pressure cook. All right, you never want it to be on vent and trying to cook it, because that will cause all of the water to come out through steaming, and that'll burn your food up. You don't want that. So make sure it's unsealed. This specific model, it automatically pushes it on sealed. All right, whenever I put it on vent and I start to cook something else, it'll automatically go back up to sealed, but yours may not do that. So make sure it's unsealed. And then from there, let's go ahead and get started with the settings. So we're gonna turn this on pressure cook, and then we're going to set this to 25 minutes. And then we're gonna let it keep warm, right? So it's gonna cook for 25 minutes, and then it's gonna be in the keep warm mode for about 15 minutes. So there's 3 different phases. That's the preheat, right there at the top. And that's basically the same way that a pot will boil water. It has to preheat before it starts actually boiling. The same thing for whatever food that you put inside the oven to cook it. It has to preheat first the oven, right? And then it starts the actual cooking process. This works a similar way. So it's gonna preheat for about maybe 3 minutes or so. So you're not gonna hear anything while you're waiting for it to preheat. Then it's gonna go into cook mode, and you'll see that this is counting down from 25 down to 0. And then it's gonna go into the warm mode, where it's keeping the food warm, but also doing a little bit more cooking lightly. And that's gonna start from 0 up to whatever number that you leave it in there for, all right? So that can be up to 15 minutes, that can be up to 30 minutes. It can go for an hour, however long you want, all right? So now we got our settings good to go. We're just gonna go ahead and push that power or that play button. Now you can see that it says on, and you can see that the light is lit up for the preheat. And we're gonna just wait about 3 minutes or so for it to start cooking. And eventually you'll hear it start to make some noise, meaning it's about to get ready to start going to the cook mode. Now, y'all may not be able to see it as clearly, but it's still in the preheat mode. It's starting to kick out some steam. This is just a normal part of the process, just in case y'all see that and you wonder if you did anything wrong. That's just normal, all right? All right, so the black beans have been in the keep warm mode for 33 minutes. I decided to let it go a little bit longer. So we're gonna go ahead and take the top off and see what we got. Before we do that, let's go ahead and vent if there's anything needed. Nope, no need to vent, so let's take this right off. Check that out. And those are our black beans. Now, the things that are in there with them, those are those onions that we put in there a little bit earlier. All right, so don't be alarmed. We put those in there for the flavor, just so it can have a little bit more to cook with. I just tried them out. So good. Oh man. We were out of garlic powder. Went to the store and grabbed some because it's essential. I can't be making all this good food without it. Yes, I use that much garlic powder. Actually, I'm going to use more. It's a lot of beans. It's a whole pound of beans. Black beans. Grab our veggies. And we'll just get extra veggies.